Someone You Should Know. A program about people you know and even more that you don't. Hosted by Stuart Sachs, veteran, husband, father, and grandfather. Now, here's your host, Stuart Sachs.
Some of you are saying, what? It's Wednesday. What's going on here? Well, this is our new time slot every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock right here on KVGI Radio. You're going to find someone you should know. No more Fridays. We're now the masters of Hump Day. So we hope you all enjoy the show. Like it, hit the button. You want to make a comment, that's fine. We love comments. And we're here to entertain you as we do every week. Very often, folks think that this is going to be a serious show. This ain't one of them, because this probably is going to be the furthest thing from serious this morning that you're going to see. And that's what we wanted to do on our first Wednesday show. So I want to invite my very special guest, Bennett Litwin, into the show. Bennett, good morning.
Good morning, Stuart.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to see you too. What kind of camera do you have? I've got the new Smell-O-Vision camera, so I didn't know if that would.
The Smell-O-Vision?
Yeah. I showered for you and everything, so just in case.
Amazing. Well, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you, because you are one of those people. I very briefly glazed over it in my promotion of the show, but you went from a career in real estate,
right,
and all into this exploding career in entertainment, and not, you're not a stand-up comedian. You're not just a this and just a that. You're like everything.
Well, you know that commercial real estate is the hotbed of comedy. I think that's pretty well established. There's some funny guys in the business, but I'm making a lot less money, honestly, Stuart.
So I hope you sold a lot of real estate to have a nest egg to back up on.
I did. I retired with a big pile of money, and now it's a very little pile of money.
Right. Yes, the dollars have made way for the cents.
Yeah, you know what? It is more fun, honestly. I like I have some friends in real estate, so I'm not going to throw everybody under the bus. But you meet actors and comedians, and it's they live from their soul, from their heart, and that's why they do it. So it's a different experience of humanity for me, and I'm glad I did it. I'll never go back. Although if you're one of my real estate clients, I'd still return your calls and work on a deal if you needed me. So
because of and we're going to get into a lot of aspects of what you do in the entertainment business, but was this in the back of your mind always when you were growing up, when you were a kid, or and then you went into real estate? And how was your real estate career the foundation for what you're doing now?
Man, there's like 6 questions there. I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yeah. I always was sort of dry funny. And sometimes it's just that I was honest and people didn't expect honesty. So I got a lot of laughs being sort of naive. I don't think I had the self-esteem or the courage to really be an artist. In my background, you go to college, you make money, you have your kids, it's a pretty serious path. Both my parents are really funny, by the way, or word. We just lost Dad, but even when his Alzheimer's, he was funny, but not as. That's a whole nother whatever. So I've always enjoyed movies.
It was funny, but he couldn't remember why.
Oh God, yeah, it's Alzheimer's is a brutal thing. Comedy. So no, I always loved movies. I can't remember not being influenced. In fact, my next book is about how movies influenced me. I started that in a COVID kind of, what can I do now moment. Encouraged by my friend Doug King, who actually introduced us.
Who?
Doug King.
Never heard of him. He's probably texting you right now, because he's already made a comment on the screen here.
I need to get get the comments section going here. Okay.
Yeah, and I knew we weren't 3 seconds into the show when he already posted in there.
Well, Doug has helped me with in every project I've worked on, just about. So the answer is, I'm going to mute my phone. Good Lord, I'm sorry. So
quiet on the set. Quiet on the set.
Exactly. Where's my producers? I think that I grew as a person bold enough to dare to be an artist. Part of it was financial security, but I wrote all along. I published my first book in 1990. Where exactly is heaven? I have some props, by the way, if
that's fine.
Okay.
We love it. And by the way, the folks that are watching right now, it says right underneath your face, Laughing Dragon Entertainment. The website is Laughing Dragon LLC, right there on the screen. Mark, thank you very, very much. What a great producer we got. So while we're talking to you, if you want, go to laughingdragonllc.com and you can get a lot of information that we're going to be sharing this morning with you. The company that you started, you said you started as a writer, or what was that your start? You started writing?
Oh man, I made a commercial when I was 10, but I mean, I've been in and around it just peripherally. If you grew up in Dallas, which I did, you just, I think my first success was as a print model, then a writer, and I think writing's easier. You can do it alone in shorts, and your mind is really your limitation. You need a cast and crew and camera and to do the other stuff. So I think writer is still my heart, just because you get to control the universe. If you're a control freak, right? I mean, you can make whatever happen you want.
Well, I know you write screenplays and you also write books and all. Did the books come before the screenplays?
That's a great question. The first book, Where Exactly is Heaven? Science, God, and Common Sense, I did research in the 80s, published it in the 90s. And from that, I had a mentor, a friend of mine, Larry Postel, who's mad at me for some reason. We haven't talked in a few years, but that's a whole nother thing. I don't know. So he was writing a screenplay, and he wanted some ideas about hypnotism. We did a comedy. And so I just love the process. I love collaborating with Larry and the format. And at the time, I'm going to make up some numbers, but about 1 million people read books and about 100 million people see movies. I figured my chances of being heard would be greater if I did a screenplay. We're going on mute now. So I love the medium. I've since collaborated on books and screenplays. If you want numbers, I've published 6 books and I've written 32 feature screenplays. Did a web series, which was basically my film school. The book came first, then started writing screenplays. Of the 32, probably 10 are good. And quality is something that comes with experience and practice.
Well, you play the numbers. I mean, the more you write, the better your chances are that something's gonna jump out. But now, I know that one of your more recent books called Brilliance and all that. Tell the audience a little bit about where did the subject matter and all for Brilliance come, because it's a great book.
Thanks, man. So I've got a really good friend who's also collaborated with me on a number of projects. He did the poster for Frakes. He did covers on some of my books. Jay Shue is an art teacher, professor of film and art. Do you know Jay by any chance?
I don't.
He's a great guest if you can get him. He teaches at SMU, Collin College, A&M, as well as he works for Sabre in the UX field, and he does videos. The Brilliance, let's see if I can do this, was his idea. Jay has students who are basically dyslexic, A lot of them, a lot of art artists are highly dyslexic, and he has some pretty heady concepts that he wanted to tell them, and he couldn't figure out how to reach them because they're not going to read the intellectual books just because of dyslexia. It's not that they're not smart; it's just a different way of processing. And I would go over there. I was doing several book covers. He designed Letters to Adam, this other book. He did the cover for Teenage Wise Guy. I mean, he's just a really, really good artist. And my Vice series with Mitch Goldman's my other partner in the writing. Anyway, I'm digressing. So Jay kept handing me books that were fairly intellectual, mindsets, or just different. Every time I go over there, he came in because he knows I can read. I like to read. And by the time I read 10 books, he goes, I want to tell you a secret. I've been priming you. I go, I know what you've been doing. So he handed me these intellectual books that I could digest. He's a little bit dyslexic too. Really good writer, really smart guy, but it's slower for him. So we collaborated. He did all the artwork, and it's really an artist. Brilliance is about 6 books in one. There's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of different fonts, and it's designed with really heady stuff for artists or for somebody who loves an artist and wants to understand them a little better, how their mind works. I'm real proud of that book, and we've done okay with it. We get distracted, but let's see if I can find. Yeah, so that's sort of some stuff that's in there.
It's a very interesting read because it's not like picking up any other book that you've ever had or read. It keeps the juices flowing while you're reading it. And every time you go from page to page and everything, you realize that you're really in a world that's different from what you call normal.
Oh man, that makes me so happy, Stuart. Thank you. Yeah, it's told through a narrative of a junior college girl, and it's funny for research. We believe in research. So he said, "Go ahead and read some books." So I read the Princess Diary and Bridget Jones' Diary to get in the mindset to write the teenage girl character, and so I think we pulled that off. But it's her experience through a junior college class taught by. It is very meta, taught by Jay ostensibly. Yeah.
When you write a book, and you said you've written how many, 6 books already?
Yes.
Do you, at the same time that you're writing the book, in the back of your head, are you saying that maybe I'll write the screenplay version of this book in order to turn it into a movie? It's
there. Yeah, it's there. In fact, we have a TV series, and we would. I got to tell you, I guess you have time. We're not a talk show.
Hey, it's only the 2 of us, So, and Doug King.
Hello, Doug. So I was looking at a building in Richardson, Texas, and the owner of the building was this short, thick, greased back hair, gold chain New Yorker who sounded like Rodney Dangerfield, and he had this, this real thick Brooklyn accent, but he was funny. And for some reason, he just really tickled. His name is Mitch Goldmans, by the way. And so Mitch took me back to his office after I saw the building. He wanted too much. We didn't buy it, but we sat in his office, and he had a wall, just a big wall full of plaques from the Dallas Police Department. And so we started talking. An hour later, I'm in tears. I'm laughing so hard. This guy's hysterical. Turns out he was a minor thug in Brooklyn, left town, so things didn't catch up to him. And he tried to live a straight life, which he did. Whatever straight meaning not crooked. He's sexually straight. He's married. I didn't ask details. And again, don't ask, don't tell. He said, I'm bored out of my mind. I think I'm going to become a cop. Okay. Everybody picked themselves off the floor because he had to go get his GED. He had to take a lie detector test, which they had to turn off 7 times because they were laughing so hard. Have you ever dressed in women's clothes? I mean, this is the 70s. And the answer was, yes, I did. And then they turn off and so, he is one of the highest decorated officers in the history of Dallas Police Department. So we wrote 3 books together, really funny. And we have TV shows, scripts written, and feature films written based on his true life experience. And I've never met anybody like him. Truly big-hearted, one of the most brilliant people I've ever met, street smart. He does step on his, let's just say he doesn't always do the most brilliant thing, but he has a way of getting out of it, which is really funny because, you know, smart isn't funny generally.
It's something like politics.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, there are more consequences. But anyway, this is he calls this his Mexican general stuff. Those are his medals.
Well, I like that. Wise guy cop.
Yeah. So it was a stretch. I had to learn to write in Brooklynese.
You know, again, I just want to remind everybody that's watching to go to the website, because a lot of the information that we're talking about is available on the website. The books, the screenplays, all about Bennett and his son Adam, who is in the business with him. It's a fascinating story, and I'm just so amazed at all of the things that you're involved in, because, you know, in addition to being a writer, a screenwriter, an author of books, you get involved in the production of these scripts that you're writing. You have a staff of actors. Frakes is your current movie that's out, and the trailer is on the website. And you got a great cast, and how did you connect with those people, or did they connect with you?
Well, Adam was taking I'll digress, just go back a little bit. Adam was taking an advanced acting class with Teresa Bell, who's a great acting teacher. She was on Night Court, if you're old enough to remember Night Court, and she moved to Dallas.
Harry Anderson.
Yeah, very good, very good. Harry Anderson, yeah. John, what's his name? Larroquette.
John Larroquette, Richard Mall.
Very good. Wow. Okay. Marsha Warfield.
Huh? Yeah.
So she was on Night Court, and she's a lovely human being. And Adam was taking acting classes from her for, like, I think probably the 4th year, was in the advanced class. And I've been writing shorts and long form for a while. And Adam told me about a really funny actor. He was several actors that were really funny in his class, and we figured we would try and, I was getting more confident, and I was writing better and funnier, and Adam and I were having such fun collaborating. We said, let's do a web series and see if we like it, see if we're any good at this, because, there's one thing about, everybody thinks they're funny, and then they get on stage. Stand-up comedy is by the way, I did an 8-minute set at Dallas Comedy House, and that's nerve-wracking. Different. I liken it to being, being on a stripper pole, because, you are just naked up there. How did I get over there? Sorry.
Yes. From strip writing to a stripper pole.
Yeah, I had to get in there.
That's a segue for you.
Doug will like that one. Hey, Doug. So what was the question? Oh yeah. Did the web series. So several of the actors, Chris Henson, Charles Duran, oh gosh, they're going to be mad at me. Sarah, oh gosh, Colt.
They're listed on the website, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Colt was in it, and we love the web series. It's a 6-part web series called Loaded the Series. That's where I met Doug. Actually, I met Doug, and I met him at the Dallas Screenwriters Association. I joined that to see, as I'm diving deeper into the business, and we didn't hit it off right away. But very shortly thereafter, he invaded my life, and anyway, it was supposed to be funny. So we decided to. We loved the the space. We love the activity. We love the set. We love the sound. We love the actors. And I fell in love with the business. And so from there, that's where the feature film, I had enough confidence. Yeah, I can do this. I will tell you that making a 6 or 7 minute short or making a feature film is a very different experience. It's writing a short story versus writing a novel.
Now, was Loaded the first series that you did?
Really, my first, where I produced, wrote, and yeah, that's the first on-camera stuff where it was my test. And was I ready? Was I good enough? And I think it's funny. I mean, I enjoyed the laughter. We would definitely do some things differently, but that's what you do. You don't do your best work first. You do your best work last.
Well, but most people normally, when they do their best work, they figure maybe quit while I'm ahead. But if you're really into the game, you dive back in and you either stay on top, or sometimes you slip a notch or two and you claw your way back to the top again.
Well, are you a golfer by any chance?
No, I'm not.
Okay. That's the only best analogy I got.
My dad was. He was terrible at the game, but man, he looked good on the course. Always looked good.
Right, the clothing business. I got it. Okay, good. Right. Yeah, no. Anybody can hit a good shot, but the idea is to hit a good shot consistently. And anybody can write a good scene or put up a good performance. The idea is to do it consistently. And the more you play and you get coaching and you practice and you experiment. So really and truly, one reason that the Frakes took 4 years to make, 5, 6, probably 6 years from beginning.
Wow.
Because we got better. We hired script consultants. We edited. One of the script consultants said, "I have no idea what you're saying here." So we needed to explain, better explanations. Because it's an existential, esoteric, meta sci-fi comedy about the afterlife with aliens. So it's not a normal movie, but it's funny and it's rich.
And you have a separate website for that. I want to mention to those that are watching and listening, frakersmovie.com. You can go to that website and then you can see the trailers. You can see a little more about the actors and the actresses. And it's, to me, when I went on the website, when I watched the trailer, and I get these juices inside me say, man, I always wanted to do that. And I think that we as human beings, very often we see people doing things and saying, man, I wish I had thought of that. I wish I had done that. And to be in your chair and say, I've thought that too, and then I did it.
Yeah.
It's got to be a gratifying feeling, to be able to say, I put my money where my mouth was, in essence.
Oh man, that's thank you, Stuart. Yeah, it's intrinsically, I am so happy what we did. We wrote movie from our hearts, from our minds. It's the best that we could come up with. I think it's a fantastic movie. We'll go back to cast in a minute. That's where I digressed a few times. So yeah, the pandemic has really put a crimp in the extrinsic or the monetary reward. We'll find our audience eventually. But to make the movie that we wanted to make, it's not violent. It's basically kind. It's an optimistic view of humanity and life and the universe, without being sappy. We think it's funny. If I can digress. So April Hartman was also in Teresa Bell's class. And I saw actors that I always wanted to work with. And so first we got actors we knew and we actually could write parts for them. And then we hired Chris Freihofer, who is the biggest deal in Oklahoma. He has film schools, film camps, and he casts big movies with Meryl Streep and that kind of thing too. But he's a friend of our director, Jeff Nicholson, who I hope's watching. Jeff is one of the inspirations for making this movie. He was one of those bridesmaids who has probably done 1,000 shorts and never a feature. And so he and I became buddies. He did my great headshot, by the way, the one for the promo. So I'm not that good looking, but he made me look that good. He's a world-class headshot photographer. He did, Jim Rash and Eric Stone Street and what's her name, Cameron Diaz. So he's got a great visual sense and he understands light. And so he and I became buddies and headshots for my books, for a couple of my book covers. So I wanted to write something for him, and Frakes really came to me in a dream for him to direct. So he directed a feature film. It would always come down to him and somebody else, and they'd had a feature film before. Now he's a feature film director, and he did a great job with a great sense of humor, and so we really hit it off. But anyway, so his buddy Chris Freihofer gave us a deal, and we got a lot of great deals. I paid everybody, but not well. So we found probably half our actors through Chris, and half our actors we knew. And one of my favorite stories is we were casting one of my good buddies, Earl Browning, was going to be on in the movie, but he hurt his hip, and his father was ill, and he couldn't be in it. Just didn't work out. But we were looking for some pretty people, and so there's a Dragonfly agency that's got world-class models, and we sent a notice over there, and we got they called me. They said, we have an actor who wants to audition. And he said he lives in LA. And I go, I'm not flying somebody to Dallas from LA. He goes, no, he'll fly himself out. And so Cottrell Guidry, who is about as pretty a man as you'll ever see, he flew himself out and he could act. We went up to Adam's office. Adam's a lawyer, and we got one of the entertainment lawyer, by the way. We'll talk about Adam if we can get to him. Talking as fast as I can. How are we doing on time, Stuart?
We're doing great. And we don't even pause for commercials.
Okay, good. Thanks, Mark. That's because you got a great producer. Yeah. So Cottrell flew himself out to Dallas. I picked him up at the airport. We had him read with Adam, who's also a really good actor. And he did great. I bought him lunch and put him back on a plane that day. So and I didn't pay for the plane fare. I did buy him lunch. Okay, I'm a sport, right? So he had, I think he had miles. And we cast him as the part of Orion Jones, the international superstar who plays Dr. Baron von Uberhandsome in the movie. So that
Baron von Uberhandsome.
Baron von Uberhandsome. So we had to find a very handsome guy to play that.
So tell the audience a little bit about some of the other scripts that you've got. There was some information that I got that was online. I don't know why the one Bedbugs jumps out at me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You want to get creeped out. So comedies are jam, but gosh, it was Jay Shu's idea. He said, I've had an idea. He's a creature feature fanatic. And he said, and he's not really a screenwriter, but he told me about the idea, and artists share stuff. And I said, it sounds creepy. We turn it into a comedy. It's really, that's on the decks next. I've got it with 3 different production companies because there'll be a lot of special effects. Element X, I'm talking to, if Chad's watching. Read the script, please. There's an Oklahoma company, and then there's some people out in LA. Michael Jefferson, I'm hoping will get that going. But it's a real funny script. A lot of the same cast, because I do like working with, and when you see our movie, you're probably not going to know the names of a lot of our cast. I'll go back to that, but you will recognize faces. Joey, who's been in Dallas Stars commercials, Joey Folsom. Brian Massey's been in Stars and Rangers commercials. April Hartman's done Toyota. Chris Henson's been in Health South. Baby sneezes on him and he recoils, if that commercial rings a bell. So you'll recognize a lot of Aaron Roberts has done theater all over town. Nas Mehdi was in a National Sprint commercial or Verizon. So I mean, it's funny. Until their names, they don't help you sell your movie, but they do help you. Matthew Greer was in No Country for Old Men. So yeah, we got great talent, and that's why it doesn't miss a beat. Adam's done some national, commercial, regional, some. Anyway, I digress.
When you want to go into production on a movie from one of the scripts, do you have a casting call, or do you try to work with your in-house staff of actors and actresses?
Well, everything starts with the script, and that's one reason why I keep going back to my roots. Writing is where it all starts. Great acting cannot make a bad script good. It can make it fair. Your talent will always take it one step up or down. A good script is going to be good, and then you just want to hope that your cast matches it and makes it better. And I got to say, in nearly every spot, we wrote something. Oh God! If you haven't seen the movie, Brian Massey, we wrote a cocky 2 shots and a wink move for him, and then what he did with it, oh geez, I can't even begin to do it. So they take what's on the page and make it better. So we wrote with certain actors in mind. In fact, the character Sparky, the alien in a human suit, it was played by Chris Henson. He's wearing a casual human suit because it's a little bit like a dad bod, if you will. So we have a little fun with that. Alien wearing a human suit. But we wrote the character and the demeanor for Chris. So in some cases, the actor will inform the writing. In other cases, we just write something we think is a funny character, and then we find the best actor who fits that. In fact, we had I'd cast several roles, and then we met another actor, and we just said, no, this actor. One actor made me cry from an audition. Joey Folsom did the best audition I've ever seen. And if you have the casting directors they'll send you out a video with little screens, little pictures, of each actor, so you can rate them. And then the Jeff, our director, Adam, and I, their co-producer and writer, we get to comment on each one so we can remember, because there might be 150 different people for different roles. So then you may not plan, and we really want to be ethnically diverse, just because that's America, and for our audience as well. We always went with the best person. It was not affirmative action, but we wanted to show what the world looks like.
How much is artistic license, in your productions?
Everything.
Because and in all honesty, because I've you read stories about that there are some directors that it is their way or the highway. They have an image of what they want that scene to be all about, and they want it played that way. There are other directors that really like for the artist to take the role and create the persona of that role, and it may be completely the opposite of what the director had in mind. So, where does that sit with your productions?
That is a wonderful question, Stuart. That I could spend a whole hour on that. In our minds, collaboration, it's a collaborative medium. Without the sound guy, it's a silent movie. Without the picture guy and the lighting guy, it's a radio show. Without the TV host, or without the radio host, without the actor, and the makeup and the wardrobe and the set designer, it's so collaborative. That and I also have a huge advantage in that I'm not good at anything except writing. So I took no huge opinions to the set with me. I was open to, although your wardrobe is your wardrobe, you have to make decisions, but we were open until we got to that place. We put on the page what we thought was a great character with some wonderful dialogue. In some cases, and again, this is our set. I'm not saying universally.
Right.
It had to be that Jeff and I were really good friends. We spent a whole day shooting a teaser trailer that still lives on the internet, that a year before the movie was even shot, to see how we worked together. I was writing all the checks, And so I wanted to have some input as a director or, you know, assistant director. And I wanted to see how that, and Jeff was very generous in letting me say something. You know, like any business, you have to have one boss, but you need to have a collab. You know, I owned a restaurant at one point, one boss, and then you go back and talk, and then that one boss comes out and delivers the message. So Jeff is generous with the actors and with me and with Adam. We wanted to what we wanted, and then let them play. So in other words, and sometimes it would be a take. Sometimes between or before, the actor would say, how about if I do this? And we're like, brilliant, that's great. I wish we'd have thought of it. So we're open to their ideas. We have a clear vision because it has to tie together. There is a beginning, middle, and end, and there is a through line through the movie. So certain lines have to be said, certain words need to be said because you're foreshadowing and but attitude and character, a lot of what shows up was not originally on the page, and we went with it because they did it better than we wrote it.
Now you slipped something in there that almost got past me, but I'm going to bring it back up. You said you were in the restaurant business also?
Yeah, I've owned a couple restaurants over the years.
Why?
Exactly. Yeah, right. I'm not in the restaurant business anymore. I opened a sports bar in Arlington called Hoops and Homers, and it was a lot of fun. And Adam's first job, I think he was 12. I probably evaded labor laws, but he learned a lot. And we played darts with the old guys, and yeah, it was fun. So no, I owned some limited partnership interest in some burger joints. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do restaurants.
Now, you mentioned your son Adam and all, who is in the business with you. Any other members of your family and all involved with your productions?
Well, I'm going to show you a picture. There are 4 generations of Litwins in Frackers. So all these people are in the movie.
Even the baby. Wow.
The baby. Well, he's 4.5 in the movie, and he plays an alien in a human suit. His human suit is adorable, as which he says. Yeah, that's my grandson.
Did he get scale?
Oh yeah, I paid him. Yes. Oh yeah.
You started a college fund.
Yes, and and if I have any money left after being in the movie business, I'll help with the college. So yeah, we paid him. Everybody got paid. My daughter-in-law was cut from the movie, which sorry, Rhonda, but in the next movie, I have another grandson, one on the way. So we have to make another movie. They'll probably be in bed bugs. That's the plan. Well, Mom helped out a little bit. I mean, Mom, was always like, "Can I do anything?" And Mom and Dad are in the movie. They actually have a scene stealing moment, which I won't give away. Just think Harry Met Sally, and I'll just drop it right there. Yeah. Anyway, so anybody who's watching this who's seen the movie, my sweetheart Gayla is in the movie. My sister Brenda's in the movie. You get family as extras. You got to get them where you can get them. A lot of friends.
I could see other actors and actresses sitting around saying, "Well, we'll never get a part in that movie because he's got so damn many family members that he doesn't need us."
That's true. But for speaking parts, Adam called me to the carpet one time. I said, "Well, I'll just have my sister play the nun," and she goes, "No. I know somebody." So Jenny Mabry, and we cut Jenny's scene anyway, so the nun doesn't show up in the movie. But professional. We really, I got to say, for what started off as a low budget is now a mid-budget indie, it's really good. I mean, it holds up. The CG was done by, I've got to do a shout out to Will Nicholson. Will was done 30 features in the CG department. He worked on Mummies, Spy Kids, a lot of big budget movies. And he's a friend of mine, introduced by Jay Shu, again, back to the networking part. And Will did some amazing, and he put together a crew. He didn't do every bit of the CG, but his crew, it looks like a big budget film. I got to say. So you'll see a little bit of that in the trailers. We're on Vimeo. We're on Studio Movie Grill, and we did a weekend of that. And I just with the COVID, I don't really want to have people gather, so we pulled from that. If there's a drive-in theater looking, I'm trying to get a hold of the guys from Ennis and in Fort Worth, Coyote. Call me. I'm trying to get a hold of you because a drive-in I think is safe, and with the big skies and the big CG, I think it'd be fantastic. I'm talking to drive-ins in Oklahoma and Arkansas and a little bit around as well. Kenda in Arkansas, call me. So yeah, we'll find our audience, Stuart. It's just the COVID. We had a big red carpet. We had 400 seats sold, double screen night. It's supposed to be in April, and we just shut it down. I mean, so it's timing's part of it.
Well, and then you've got the movie channels on television too. 3 years ago, I think Netflix was probably the first one. Now you've got 30 or 40 of them that are all showing movies. Maybe there's avenues there where some of the features can be shown to a broad audience virtually also. Yeah, you never can tell. I'm going to put you on a spot for a second.
Oh boy.
Between the movies, I'm going to ask you about books and screenplays. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite book that you've written and a favorite screenplay that you could say that one is by far my favorite because?
Well, the screenplay is easy, and part of it is that we got it made. Frakes, it was about 68 drafts before we started shooting, and probably another 50 drafts after, because we still did a voiceover and CG, and we had to move some things around. The honing of that screenplay, and the actual movie length is 93 minutes. I just did a transcribing last week of the actual film, and it's 124 and a half pages. And generally it's 1 minute per page. We jammed so much in there, from airport announcements while the action is going on. It's by far the most honed script. I read scripts for a living. Stuart, that's one of the things that I do and how I've gotten better. And behind this picture, I've got a stack of scripts that's taller than me and double stacked. It's by far, and it's one of the best screenplays I've ever read. I've read a few from other people that are better, but not many, because just honing. As far as books, that's a great question. I don't know that I have a favorite, because they all have different things. I did a book, Letters to Adam, Diary of a Divorced Dad, which is about me and my son Adam. So that's a certain heart thing. But Teenage Wise Guy is really funny. Brilliance really offers a lot to people. Where Exactly Is Heaven's my first book, so that's kind of like your first kid. I don't know. So definitely screenplay. Books, I'd say I love them all.
Well, the book Letters to Adam, is it?
Yeah.
Letters to Adam. I mean, of course, that's based a lot on real time. Whereas a lot of the other things that you've written are just, they're ideas that have come out of your head and done differently. That's what I find really interesting, is that it seems like each one of the books that you've written is completely segregated from the others. They're just completely different, almost different genres. You mentioned Patrol. And talking about this Brooklyn cop and everything, that's completely different from what Brilliance and all is all about.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be writing Vice and Patrol and Teenage Wise Guy without Mitch. It's really Mitch's story, and I'm fortunate enough to, although some people disagree about my opinionated nature, I can surrender my ego to become somebody else. And I think actors do that, and good writers do that. every character is different, and I was able to get into Mitch's head, which is a really fun and crazy place to be, because he's a thrill seeker, and I'm less of a thrill seeker than that. And I got to explore that universe through his eyes and through his actions safely, in my chair. I think I like screenwriting better generally, although I did a biopic. There's a very, very famous athlete that I guess I can talk. I don't know if I can talk about it or not. We have it copyrighted, but there's an athlete I did a biopic on. I had to get into his head, and he exists, but I had to make up his words through his perspective, and his wife's words, and dialogue, and jokes of the era. That's where Google's great. You can Google 1930s jokes. That's kind of fun. So yeah, I think I do like the screenwriting better because you can make up somebody and there's no limits. For example, with Frakes, it's a interdimensional sci-fi comedy with aliens in human suits. I didn't meet those guys. You know what I mean? That's not from somebody. That's somebody, a perspective that I got to make up with Adam, who's probably one of the funniest people I've ever met. And that's a joy. Can you imagine being in the room with your son, trying to make each other laugh as a way of living? Oh my God, it's the greatest. Now we got to figure out how to make a living at it. He's a lawyer and I'm a talk show host. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's almost like being in a room with Doug King.
I've threatened to collaborate with Doug, but he won't have me so far.
I'm curious about something. You obviously have this magnificent creative mind, and it's probably always running in 5 directions at the same time. Do you see the world? I mean, we're living in a very, very different kind of time right now, but because you have this creativity in the back of your head, or in the front of your head for that matter, do you see the world differently than those of us who just see us as a world that is living in COVID-19 times?
Oh my God. Well, boy, it's so tempting to get political here. I'm going to do my best not to. I don't think anybody sees the world exactly the same. I know so many right brain people, and although that's kind of a misnomer at this point too. I think that everybody has their own perspective, and there is no one truth. We're all just touching that elephant's tail or its trunk and trying to describe what life is. In fact, get serious for just a moment.
Do we have to?
Well, so Frakes is an exploration of the afterlife through my mind. I think we deal with death extremely poorly in our society. And whether the last keep grandpa alive on a tube for 10 years, we don't let go very well. We mourn like, oh my God, they died. Well, everybody's dying. So I think that's one of the things that I wanted to offer, an alternative that may be as good a fiction as any I've heard, whether it's a church or a temple or a mosque. So through there's no comedy without drama. There's no laughter without tragedy. So, we deal with death. I think, in fact, if anybody's a hospice person and wants a free download, call me or text me. I'm doing hospice free through the end of the year because I think your work is awesome. We're all going, man. And so how we look at it is how we live. I mean, you live how you think you're going to die, in sort of some weird, and probably said better by a lot of other philosophers. And I don't even remember the question, but so I look at the world differently. I look at it. Well, part of it is I nearly died when I was a kid. I had an out-of-body experience when I was 4, and so my life's been informed by that. And that's
wow.
That's Where Exactly Is Heaven, my first book. was really about that. I asked my teacher, my Sunday school teacher, because, oh, you're going to go learn about God now. So, my first grade Sunday, where's God and who is God? And they go, well, we don't really know in Judaism. And I'm like, okay, I'll wait till next year. And then in second grade, they got to have a smarter teacher, right? So I kept asking the question, and nobody really ever answered it adequately. So I did some research and homework, and I still don't think anybody's answered it adequately. And if you know the answer and you're certain of the answer, you're an idiot because you don't. And so, real literal people and people that are certain, they just annoy the heck out of me. So anyway, that's why we have fun with it. Obviously, ours is a fiction or not, but it makes as much sense. Wow, am I doing a good job of selling a comedy?
Well, I invite those that are watching. The time has just flown by. The book, where exactly is heaven? I think that could be a subject for another show, which we may want to put on the schedule one of these days. But go to frackersmovie.com. Go to laughingdragonllc.com to learn more about Bennett Litwin and all of the things he's involved in. Bennett, thank you for taking the time to spend this day with us. I wish you the best of luck. And if you're looking for somebody to do some narration or some voiceovers, please give me a call.
Thanks, man. That sounds great. I had a great time, Stuart. It did fly by, and talking about stuff I really love and arts. And thanks for having me. I'll come back if you want me.
I'll be happy to. Go out and you make it a great day. And for those watching and listening, thanks a lot for dropping in for another episode of Someone You Should Know. Had a great time with Bennett Litwin. Go out and make it a good day because, as I always say, be yourself because everyone else is taken.
Love it. Thanks, Stuart. Thanks, guys.